Welcome aboard. X marks the spot. Join hosts Breeze Aubrey and Devin Moore as they delve into the captivating history that shaped Generation X. From the iconic big hair to the groundbreaking advancements in technology, we're your guides through this unforgettable decade. So grab a seat, unwind, and let's journey through the era that defined a generation.
Hello everyone and welcome to X Marks the Spot. My name is Breeze Aubrey and I'm here with my co-host
Devin Moore. Hi, how are you?
We're all doing great and we're back at it again after somewhat of a nice long hiatus. A lot of people have been asking me, Breeze, how do you guys do your taping? Once, maybe a month. And then I've got to go and edit most of it afterwards, and then it's a lot of that. And then I break it up into maybe 9, maybe 10 minutes. Sometimes I'll go like 15 and do about 15 minutes of that. But for the most part, it's a lot of that. So by the time we get in here, it's probably about a month. Maybe about a month and a half before we actually get into the swing of things and we do this. Hopefully, if things work out, and I'm going to let probably Devin talk a little bit about maybe us getting a Patreon pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into Patreon because we're just doing this because we just love our generation and all that came with it and whatever. But why do it for free? This is a hobby. This is fun. But if you guys will help us out, I'm gonna look into Patreon, and eventually we can make money entertaining you guys
and
talking about the 80s.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get a bigger studio too.
Yes,
and,
a little professional.
Yeah.
But hey, this is what
happens when you start at the bottom and work your way to.
I've been there many times, so
yeah, we're having a good time here. And like I said, when we're in here, we usually talk about about an hour's worth and all, and maybe a little bit longer. I don't know, depending on what's going on. But we enjoy listening to your comments and all, and we really appreciate what's going on. In fact, and I haven't told Dev about this, but I'm actually a member of a place called freesounds.com.
Nice.
And I've actually I have a couple. I'm gonna let you listen to it. There are a couple of people on there. One's called Audio Coffee, and then there's another girl, I can't pronounce her name, but I gotta let you listen to some of it because I know you're a big fan of horror, and she has sounds of like monsters.
Oh, okay, cool.
Speaking of monsters, let's get this really out of the quick. How about a big round of applause for Godzilla -1. It got an Academy Award.
I did not know this. I don't watch TV or anything. So, yeah. I'm watching Dark Shadows right now. We're talking about the original 1960s.
Well, here's the thing about it. It's 70 years in the making. I mean, Godzilla's never received an Academy Award except for right now. So it's 70 years.
My mom was talking about how when she was a kid, that was the thing to watch was, Godzilla. And first horror movie she ever watched was Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, that's amazing. Godzilla.
Oh,
Wow.
And one more thing before we get on with the rest of the podcast, I just want to say I always look at our statistics and see what's going on. And I was just telling this to Deb, and she laughed her ass off when she heard of it. We actually have a short clip on YouTube, and the biggest one we got on there was when we were talking about Motley Crue's Nikki Sixx getting so drunk that they had to duct tape him to a pole. And that got about 1,200, 1,300 views on it. So, and also, by the way, I want to
thank you, Motley Crue.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much, Motley Crue. Also, I wanted to take the time and opportunity to Oh yeah, the last time we were here, I kept going off on Speedos, Speedos, and I had gotten it wrong, and I want to correct myself on it. It wasn't Speedos, and you were right. It was jams, but it was also
They're called something else though.
spandex.
Oh, spandex.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get at, and I messed up, and it was spandex, and I missed. I don't know why I said Speedos. I meant spandex, and I gotta tell you, spandex. It most of the rockers that I knew of, they all came from wearing those nice tight spandex. But let's get the topics going, and I'm gonna let ladies go first, and let's go with Miss Devin.
Okay. The topic that I wanted to talk about today, since it is an election year, yay. Don't want to talk politics.
No.
But I did want to get an idea of the Gen X generation and voting, as far as the first layer, the first layer of Gen X. As you all know, Gen X is between 1965 and 1980. The first election that Gen X got to vote in was the one in November 6th of 1984. So people who turned 18 in 1983, they're now 59. The first. She
said, now you're 59. One more year and you'll be 60.
But the first Gen Xers voted in 84. And you actually knew who the nominees were.
Right.
The representative for was Ronald Reagan for the Republicans.
And his vice president was George W. Bush.
George H. W.
Bush.
Yes. And then for the Democrats was Walter Mondale. And his running mate was
Geraldine Ferraro.
Yes. Absolutely. And I also have the electoral votes. Republican was 525 and the Democrats were only 13. So yeah. Then the next election was held November 8th in 1988. And do you know the running mates?
1988. I know. Let me see. I know he got caught with Marla Maples. I think it was. I want to say it was. I know Dan Quayle was part of that group.
He was a running mate.
He was a running mate, Dan Quayle. And then there was, what was his name? He got busted sitting. Some girl. I think it was Marla Maples that was sitting on his lap, and they had a picture of him.
I don't remember that.
What?
I don't remember, but it's Dukakis. He was a Democrat.
Dukakis. Oh yeah, the guy with the
now Republican was George H.W. Bush.
Yeah. Okay, that's right, Robert Dukakis. I forget.
Now, do you know who Michael Dukakis' running mate? This is like.
Thank you for listening to Breeze and Devin talk about the 80s and Generation X, a decade that does not get talked about in the media. Join us next time when we will be talking more on how this decade shaped today's culture. Goodbye, and give a shout out to Devin and Breeze in the comment section of this page.